So my top is almost finished, and I have just pressed up the hem across the bottom for view B. So it's been folded up once and pressed, folded up a second time and pressed. Now, before we go ahead and stitch this hem down, we're just going to do something a little bit tricky and cool with the facing so that this pressed edge ends up nicely tucked away between the facing and the top when we're at the end, so like a little sandwich there. So what we're going to do that is just open your facing out away from your top and unfold your hem that you've just pressed, but you needed to press it first because we're going to use the lines that you just pressed in. So now you're going to fold your facing back over your top like this. So it's back to being right sides together. Just make sure that's straight. So I've now folded my facing back around, and because we've understitched it, the seam allowance will turn with the facing. That's fine. So I'm just going to put a pin in there to hold that. That one's, I don't know why, but I'm having like this run of blunt pins even in my new packs. So right sides together, and if we look back here, we can see the two lines we pressed in. There's one, there's the second one. I'm going to use that second fold, the higher of the two, as my stitching line. So I'm going to stitch across the facing now, right sides together, on the second folded line, or if you're looking at the top the right way around, it's the highest fold. So here I've just sewn it just across the facing, holding that down. So now what happens if I turn this back to the right side? So I press my facing back to the inside, and I need to turn my corner out, but I'll just show you so you can get the gist of it. You can see that's now nicely folded in. And then all I need to do now to finish my hem is just refold those lines that I've pressed. I can do that on the inside of behind the facing. So go ahead and do that on both sides. Oh, sorry, before we do that, I just wanted to show you really quick, but before you do turn it right sides out, just trim off this corner a little bit. We don't need that there. Now you can turn it right sides out. Get a point turner to make that a nice crisp corner. You can refold your hem, refold it on the inside of the facing too. Do both sides, and then you can now go ahead and stitch your hem down. Up to you whether you stop your hem stitching at the facing or whether you sew all the way across. I'm going to sew it all the way across because I'm going to end up top stitching around the rest of the top, or edge stitching rather. So there's going to be a line of stitching there anyway.